Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the NCR Patrolman and Trooper Armors mod, which is being made by user Lord of War in conjunction with the Fallout Cascadia team. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a number of different variations on the NCR Trooper armor, as well as the iconic NCR Patrolman armor from Fallout New Vegas, and I cannot tell you how much I love this mod, as not only is it bringing back into the franchise the NCR from my personal favorite in the Fallout franchise, New Vegas, but it's also a little bit of a taste of what is to come in the Fallout Cascadia mod, which I frankly can't wait for. That thing is looking pretty darn cool. So between the mix of the two, I am extraordinarily excited for this thing. So how do you get your hands on all of this wonderful NCR armor? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Once you do have the mod installed, you merely need to go to your local friendly neighborhood chemistry station and head down to the utility tab. Now, I should mention at this point that if you do have the AWKCR mod installed, there is a patch for this mod that you can also download, so that these are built at the Armorsmith workbench, but if you're going vanilla mostly, then you can just build it here in the chemistry station. And now the first on the list that we have here is an armored version of the NCR Trooper uniform, which for a bit of cloth, leather, plastic, and rubber will give you half-decent defense there at 45 defense for a pretty meager weight of just 7, so pretty darn cool there. We then have a bandolier version of the Trooper armor with the same materials, just slightly less, and of course, in turn, slightly less protection at only 35, but a little bit lighter at 6. We then have the mantled NCR Trooper uniform, again with these same required materials, this time dealing 40 defensive protection though, and a weight of 7. We then move into some of the accessories, of which there are a fair few, where we have the NCR Beretta, which gives you a meager 5 defense, but hey, any defense for your head is good defense. And of course, you can always modify this, though now that I'm thinking about it, this one you can only modify the color of it. So yeah, use it as you will. And of course, made with just cloth. We then also have a gas mask, which oddly enough, it's also made of cloth, which doesn't seem quite right, but oh well, it will give you 5 defense and 30 radiation protection, which is always good. We then have some hand wraps to, well, protect your hand, which gives you just a small damage resistance of 2 and a weight of 1. We then have an NCR helmet, giving you quite a bit more protection at 15 defense, and also made of cloth again. A little bit strange, but oh well, what are you gonna do? We then have a netted helmet, which gives you the same defense, but hey, is a different aesthetic look with the nice, net on the top. And then we move into the Patrolman armor here, where we have the armor itself giving you 35 physical protection and 15 electrical, and again, a meager weight of only 6, which is quite nice. We then have the Patrolman gloves with just 5 defense there, but only 1 weight, which is always good. We then have a Patrolman's hat with 10 defense, so a lot better than, the Beretta up here. And then finally the Patrolman outfit, which gives you 10 defense. And then we move on to the NCR raincoat, which is another fun accessory to go mainly with the Trooper armor. If you use it with the Patrolman armor, stuff pops out everywhere, so much better to use it with the Trooper stuff. But a cool raincoat nonetheless at 5 extra defense. And then we have the standard Trooper uniform with 10 defense here. And then moving on, we have short-sleeved versions of all the different Trooper armor, so the standard short-sleeve Trooper armor, the mantled, the bandolier, and the armored. They do have a little bit less defense on most of them here, but I mean, hey, they're short-sleeved, so guess you're not protecting your arms. Now, as for how all these things look, let's go take a look at that before we actually check out the modifications, as, well, after all these years of making mods for this game, I finally remembered we have mannequins. I built many mannequins. So let's start over here with the basic armor, the trooper armor, which I also have on this one, the hand wraps there. So a pretty standard look for a soldier. Overall, a nice little bit of armor. Now next to it, we have the mantled version, which has, you know, a nice little, well, it actually is the raincoat. For instance, if we go back to this guy and turn on the accessory raincoat, they pretty much look identical at that point. A little tiny bit different, but mostly identical. So this uniform is basically just the raincoat built in, but frankly, you know, it's nice to have the raincoat as an addition for, you know, extra armor. The next is the bandoliered version. Very nice. And I got this guy with the red Beretta up there. Very cool looking. We then have the just plain old armored version and the standard helmet up top on this guy. We then move over to the short sleeve versions of the four. So we got the short sleeve version of the standard with the netted helmet up there. We then have the short sleeve version of the mantled with the gas mask on this one, which does look pretty freaking sweet. And then, of course, the short-sleeved, rather, there are words, of the bandoliered and the short-sleeved of the armored. And finally, the patrolman armor in all of its glory. And that is pretty cool. Now you notice we have a couple of more guys in the back there, and that is actually something quite fun. On all of the trooper armor, you can actually switch between one of 7 different camo material patterns. And like right here, we have the standard armored trooper uniform. And if we head back here, we have the trooper uniform with winter camo. Very cool. Then the trooper uniform with, you know, just sort of, I guess, forest camo-ish, maybe? I'm not entirely sure on what kind of camo pattern it is, but hey, camo. And then we have the same things of the winter and camo and standard versions, but with NCR emblems on the front. So we have the standard with NCR emblem, the camo with NCR emblem, the winter with NCR emblem, and then we also have this one here, which is a Mojave pattern with the NCR emblem. So a little bit of a nod back to Fallout New Vegas with the Mojave version of the uniform there, and the Mojave is only in the emblemed version. And yeah, it looks best, of course, on the bandoliered and the armored versions. Actually, if you go with the standard or mantled, even if you choose the ones with the emblem, they don't show up because there's really nowhere for the emblem to be, so that is just something to keep in mind. But there we are. That is all the different various patterns of camo and all the cool armors and accessories that we can build. And all in all, that is a lot of awesome variations of the armor here. I really do enjoy it. So let us actually take a look at how we can modify them here in the armor workbench, and let's take a look at the NCR trooper uniform I'm currently wearing. And with all of the trooper uniforms, we have the same 2 options. We have a lining option, so we can do things like lighter build, padded, pocketed, asbestos lining, deep pocketed, lead lined, dense, ultralight, biocom mesh, and finally pneumatic. So all the armors can go with one of these, or all the trooper armors rather, I should clarify. And all the trooper armors, again, like I said, have these various camo patterns, etc. So once more, we have 7 of them with the trooper uniform down here, the standard trooper, the winter, the uniform camo, the emblem winter uniform, the emblem trooper uniform for the Mojave, the emblem uniform camo, and the emblem just standard trooper. So there we are, some fun things, and again, all on just the trooper armor variations will have these 2. Now, for the patrolman armor, it's actually a little bit sad because remember, the patrolman armor is in 4 pieces. The armor, the gloves, then we also have a hat and the uniform. And sadly, I have the hat and uniform in my inventory right now, but we cannot edit them in here. We can only edit, or modify rather, the patrolman armor and the gloves gloves. So the gloves can take on the same sort of linings, or similar rather. We have insulated, treated, resisted, protective, and shielded linings for these. And then we can actually add ballistic weave to the patrolman gloves, which will add a lot of armor protection, which is always nice. And then for the patrolman armor, we just have these various linings, so the various builds just like the trooper stuff. So no, adding in of different ballistic weaves here, which I'm a little bit sad by. You'd think the patrolman armor would have a bit more protection, but oh well. What are you gonna do? And sadly, as I said, you can't modify the patrolman uniform or the hat. Now, we can modify a lot of the other accessories, like the Beretta here, which, as I did mention earlier, you can change the color between a red and a gray. Now, on the hand wraps, we actually can add ballistic weave onto the hand wraps. So those, sad, pathetic little hand wraps that normally barely cover anything, you can actually make those pretty darn powerful with Ballistic Weave 5. And of course, we have the same linings as with the patrolman gloves there. Now, in the helmets, both the standard helmet and the netted helmet can only be changed in the material, so either standard, painted metal, enameled metal, shadowed metal, alloyed, or polished, and that is it. Nothing for really changing up the stats much. Now, of course, as you can see, the different metals will change some resistances, but we're not going to be able to add any, like, weave or anything like that. But, you can at least modify it slightly. Now, then we have, of course, the raincoat, which you can add ballistic weave to. And remember what I said earlier, the mantled version of the armor, which comes built in with the raincoat, it does the same as the rest of the trooper armor. You cannot add ballistic weave. So honestly, it's better to have the standard trooper armor, modify it with whatever you can, and then add your own raincoat with ballistic weave for extra protection. And then, of course, you can wear a gas mask under that, which I gotta mention here is another thing that sadly is not able to be modified. We cannot touch or modify the gas mask, even though I clearly have it in my inventory because, well, I'm wearing it, and that makes me happy. I am also wearing a raincoat with ballistic weave, and as you can see, with anything other than the standard trooper armor, it does have some clipping issues. That is why I do recommend only using it with the standard trooper armor. But oh well, if you're gonna be, in first person, it's not too bothersome, I guess. But I love it, as we just have so many fun options with all of this NCR armor, with just a lot of variations in the materials, the colors, the kinds. I like that it has short sleeve options. I don't know why, but that really amuses me. And it's just a very fun mod. And again, a little taste of what's to come in Fallout Cascadia, which frankly just makes me happy. But yeah, that is really all there is for this mod here today. If you would like to check it out for yourself, which I would definitely recommend that you go and do, you can take a look at the link in the description as per usual to check this out for yourself. But that is going to be it for the NCR Patrolman and Trooper Armors mod. Do definitely go check it out, have fun, enjoy yourself with it, and bring a bit of the NCR to the Commonwealth. But that is going to be it for today, folks. I hope you have enjoyed, and of course that you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.